Well, YouTube lied, and they have immediately rebanned and or denied the reinstatement of really most of the accounts that even mattered in their statement earlier this week. And I don't say that to disparage accounts I am uneducated on or I don't know. I'm sure that there's a handful of, important medical accounts that were banned during that era. And there's a handful of other accounts that will come back, and I'm happy for them. But the thing is, this is not what they alluded to. Earlier this week, YouTube was caught red-handed, in fact, admitting to taking pressure from the Biden administration to ban several accounts during that time. Whether it was Alex or Nick or Milo or a whole bunch of other accounts, these are the accounts that most people thought would be coming back. And so last night, Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones and I believe Milo all tried to get their channels reinstated. And it looked like initially things were going to be good. The YouTube channels were up. They were brand new channels. And last I checked, they had 40,000 subscribers, I think, or 20 or 30,000 at the time each. And I said to myself, I almost tweeted it, but I didn't want to tweet it into existence. I'm like, there's a reason they didn't reinstate their old channels and that they started these new channels. I felt like maybe they're testing YouTube. Maybe they're, seeing what's going to happen. And sure enough, that's what happened. And sure enough, YouTube went back and this morning had banned all these channels. I'm going to look here. Let's go to this original article. By the way, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe or follow down below. And don't forget to follow me on New Tech Media. New Tech. Obviously, I have a very large channel on the Mean Green website that you can't even mention on YouTube anymore. I think I have almost 350,000 subscribers there. Our live stream daily at 2 Eastern has 20 to 30,000 viewers. So I hope you'll watch that. But let's go to the original thing. So YouTube says they will reinstate accounts banned for posting, quote, false claims about the coup and the 2020 election. Now, many people believed, I offered this caveat in the actual initial video of it because it just felt a little suspicious. And because they specifically mentioned these two reasons. So I went back and I looked. Why was Alex Jones banned? Why was Nick Fuentes banned? Why was Milo banned? Well, none of them were actually technically banned for missing or for health or election stuff. They were banned for quote, repeated and persistent use of hate speech and blah, 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 blah. It's essentially YouTube's catch-all for banning people they don't like. Hate speech is not a real thing. It is not a real thing, that will be, it's not a real thing that the United States Constitution or law recognizes, regardless of what dumb Pam Bondi says. It's just not a real thing. Essentially, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter 1.0, and other platforms like that, they said that, we don't like you, so we're going to invent this term called hate speech, and we're going to ban you. So I was cautious, nervous, after I really read into what YouTube had to say. Then Alex had this to say last night.
Alex Jones on X and banned out video in other places like Rumble. But this is a major issue because they're claiming they've stopped the censorship, but they haven't. Facebook claimed 3 months ago we could come back, wouldn't let us back.
Right.
So we'll see if this is actually happening. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't automatically mean that Alphabet and Eric Schmidt are lying. It means that just the default settings and the censors that are in there have done this. That's why we're going to draw attention to it. But if this gets pulled down today, and in a month from now it hasn't been corrected, we'll give them some time. Now we know that they have lied to Congress, just like Comey did.
And contrary to popular...
Shout out to Mark Dice, who had covered this morning. So essentially, Alex had set a trap. I know he's gotten really close with Nick, so perhaps they were both in on it. But there was just really no surprise that this morning I woke up and YouTube had, quote unquote, clarified their stance. YouTube, Apple, and Facebook banned InfoWars, which decries megapurge. Again, the reason YouTube initially banned him was repeated violations of policies against using hate speech and glorifying bad behavior. They did not technically ban him for, conversations around the election of the coup. He was still, everyone agrees, he was still obviously banned simply because he had a wrong opinion. They didn't want him on the platform. We know that Nick, I don't remember. I don't really watch his videos. I just know that he's very controversial and he has some spicy opinions about Israel. But I suspect he was also banned for hate speech, given how he talks and things like that. I'm not sure that he was ever banned. I don't think that he was even, I think that he was banned even before, the election stuff came up, and certainly before the coup stuff came up. Milo, same thing. These people were very, very provocative. That doesn't matter, right? They're allowed to be provocative. These left-wing platforms let left-wingers, or these platforms let left-wingers go on them and talk about, taking the lives of Republicans openly. I covered a video yesterday on Instagram of a man pretending to be a woman who basically called for more attacks like Charlie Kirk. There's all sorts of these type of wild, lunatic left-wingers that simply exist on these platforms. Hassan Piker, right? Famously said, landlords, the streets should run red with the blood of landlords that won't rent houses to people in Compton. That you should, rip out at Republicans' intestines. He has used Twitter, X, to threaten the life of sitting senators and congresspeople, I believe, at least once. And then also he threatened Rick Scott's life on Twitch as well. There's Denims. There's that egg-shaped girl who eats hard-boiled eggs on her stream that says all sorts of heinous stuff. They let Muslims on their platform to say heinous stuff, but not Alex, not Nick, not Milo. And I'm friendly with Alex and Milo. I don't know Nick, but there are also multiple other accounts. Well, of course, this morning they were all banned. You see this: Google pledges to reinstate all creators previously removed from YouTube for political speech violations. That is the real reason I can say specifically Alex was banned, right? He got banned right before the election, right before really important elections. He was an outspoken Trump supporter. That was the real reason he was banned, in my opinion. But now they went back against their initial statement and are now claiming that suspensions will, quote, only be lifted as part of a new, quote, limited pilot program. The channels that were removed were newly created, the Nick and Alex channels. Their previous accounts were never reinstated, and as some falsely reported. Now, I put in my video that he was unbanned, but, sometimes you got to write a headline, okay? I clarified in the video that they were new channels, and you see here updates from YouTube. We've had a lot of questions about the pathway back to YouTube for some terminated creators to set up a new channel. This will be a, quote, limited pilot project that will be available to a subset of creators, in addition to those channels terminated for policies that have been depreciated. More to come soon. Was my face being covered by this thing the whole time? Oh, my face has been being weirdly covered by my desktop the whole time. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. How about that? I'm a professional. I have a doctor's appointment I got to leave for in 20 minutes. So I'm trying to get the morning video done, go to my doctor's appointment, then get back in time for my 2 p.m. Eastern live stream over on Quartering Live on YouTube, also on the Quartering on the Mean Green website. We'll have more to talk about there. But again, what's next? You see this here. their actual report, we've seen some people, previously terminated creators, try to start new channels. To clarify, our pilot program on terminations is not even open yet. It's still against our community guidelines for previously terminated users to use, possess, or create other channels, and will terminate new channels from previously terminated users in accordance with these guidelines. We'll have more to share on the limited pilot program soon. Could they say limited anymore? Limited, super tiny. What they're probably really talking about here is there's like 2 creators that have like 100 subscribers, and that's it. That's all that's coming back. This is why, as Chris Pavlovsky always says, build your house on a rock, not on sand. I've always held this position, that we need to have numerous, we need to be everywhere. Every platform where people are, we need to be. Milo wrote, where is this? He posted this. Yep. Your channel won't be put back on YouTube. We've taken a careful look at your channel again and confirmed that it does violate community guidelines. We recognize this disappointing news, but again, I don't know what it's going to take for these creators to embrace new tech, the Mean Green platform, or even X, although nobody watches video on X unless it's like a 30-second stolen meme that some Indian just ripped, or some Malaysian just ripped off somebody else and reposted. This is not surprising. These people will never be unbanned. So people need to embrace new tech. Yes, I know sites like the Mean Green website, ad rev isn't great. That I can't deny. But I also can't make advertisers support free speech. But when you're a creator, you have to monetize in other ways. And once you reach people, then you can. For example, the big thing I do is I have the quartering/join program, which is a members only Discord where you can talk directly to me. Imagine if you could talk directly to Alex or, any of these other people. That's how I support myself. The new tech platforms don't bring in a lot of money, but they do bring people that are willing to sign up for this. And I hope people will sign up for it today. I'll keep you posted with all today's breaking news just as soon as I get back from the doctor, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.